Little to no food for 16 days. Snow as far as the eyes can bloody see, and only each other to keep warm. With the exception of occasional flatulence. I fear that may have been my last. None of us possessed the strength to go any further, except for the child. Our fate now lies in the hand of an 8-year-old boy.
What you just heard was the last passage that Captain Erskine Tetherton ever made in a journal he kept during his 1910s voyage to the South Pole. The story of the Perseverance is one that's largely been lost to history. It wasn't until 2024 that 4 well-kept journals were discovered, chronicling the harrowing tale. This is the story of the real first men to discover the South Pole. On the morning of July 13th, 1910, the Perseverance set sail from the British Isles. Their destination? Antarctica. More specifically, a rumored tropical island within the Antarctic continent, nicknamed Anus, Latin for anus. Located at the southernmost point of the Earth, it was truly the sphincter of the Earth, and a gorgeous one at that. It was said that an ancient race of people survived on the island, surrounded by incredible SpongeBobian architecture, handmade jewelry, and fruit nowhere else found on Earth. Scientifically, we can presume that the island could have survived due to its location and something called ice fatigue. When the ice covered the Earth during the Ice Age, it almost covered the full Earth until it got to the bottom, when essentially and metaphysically, it got too tired. Most seafaring men regarded the tale of a noose as little more than fantasy. But for one man who believed wholeheartedly in the tale, it was an all but certain opportunity at unprecedented glory. Scottish Captain Erskine Tetherton had been at sea his whole life. A true student of the sea, and a decorated one at that. At only age 34, he was the youngest admiral of the British Navy's Wave Terror Task Force, a subdivision of the British Navy dedicated to blasting any wave headed towards land deemed big enough to be a threat. Legend has it he once shot down a 16-foot wave with only his pistol. Erskine set out to assemble an elite crew of men to man a schooner he'd acquired by killing the previous owner to death. Named after Erskine's father Percy, the Perseverance was a 3-masted, fully wooden giant masterfully crafted to dominate the ice of the Atlantic. Mythical island aside, the adventure of going where no man had gone before and laying claim to the South Pole was enough to excite any sailor, young or old. So Erskine hung up a sign in the window of his favorite London bar that read, "Discover anus, need many men." Unfortunately, reading and writing was not Erskine's strong suit. After a full day of gay stuff, only 3 men approached Erskine who seemed to understand his cryptic homoerotic sign. And one of those 4 men was a child named Keith. Keith was the first person that Erskine had ever met that had as much passion as he about the fabled island of Anus. The other 2 men were Cecil Davies and Zachary Braff. Cecil was an American that moved to London hoping and failing to make money in a dying whale trade. Zachary Braff was a troubled schizophrenic who Erskine thought, quote, could use the discipline. Anxious to set sail, Erskine would supplement the rest of his crew with old Navy buddies.
I've been on the ship now for what feels like 5 hours, but in my mind, I know it was only 1. But in everyone else's eyes, it's been 3. But in our minds and soul, we know it's only been 1.
So can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up? My name's Jack Braff. I was born in 2006. That makes me 18 years old.
Okay.
What was the question?
Do you remember anything about him?
Yeah, just like mostly from stuff from like JD, and like Turk and stuff. I like Turk a lot, and I like JD and Turk. I like their relationship.
Who's Turk and JD?
Well, they would like do hijinks, and then they would like they would learn something usually at the end of the episode, you know.
So I'm starting to figure out you're related to Zach Braff, the guy from Scrubs. It's kind of.
Yeah.
So why online? So I was fortunate enough to track down 3 descendants of some of the crewmen we have journals from. Unfortunately, none of the interviews were very good. Here's what the grandson of Erskine Tetherton had to say about his grandfather. What was his personality like?
He was a white guy. He never got to see the Three Stooges.
Up Apologies for the new look, guys. My makeup team said I could use a touch-up. I hope you like it. Anyways, after about a month at sea, the crew of the Perseverance were feeling good and things were going as planned.
I think I've put myself together a great crew here. Good men with good heads on their shoulders.
If I have one goal for the whole time I'm on this ship, I want to be able to put my whole fist in my whole mouth.
The captain doesn't know I have a lucky block of cheddar cheese underneath my pillow sack. It keeps away all the bad and good spirits, but also captures them.
Some of the nice men have been throwing rocks at me. Who throws rocks on a bloody ship?
Within the cheese's four walls is a interdimensional tesseract. Everything else is interdimensional horseplay. The cheese is the true key to eternity.
Dear Diary, my name is Cecil Davies.
Unfortunately, that was the only journal entry that Cecil Davies got around to making. But perhaps his great-great-granddaughter can shed some light on his story.
Do you think it's important to do stuff like your grandpa did, to set out to do things that people think are impossible?
I think it is important that everyone finds their impossible, like great-grandpa. Like my impossible is my tiny hat store in Etsy. They're so small. If I could give my grandpa even an ounce of advice, it would be drop shipping.
Would you say that your business model...
Mansplainer. You're being a mansplainer.
Okay.
But yeah, they're super cute. You can put them on whatever, like just like f***ing cute shit. Like you can do it on whatever. This could have been my great granddad.
What do you mean?
Wow, well said. Thanks. This time I had my eyes done. I hope you like that. After around 3 months, the Perseverance had reached the Weddell Sea, a treacherous region of the Southern Ocean located near the Antarctic Peninsula. When all of a sudden, something incredible happened. I'll let Jack Braff explain.
Can you just kind of play along and just kind of pretend?
I guess like acting.
Exactly, it would be like acting, yeah.
The seal exploded onto the boat because a whale shot it onto the boat, because that can happen. And this whale got onto the seal got onto the boat, and because this whale shot it onto the boat.
What actor Zach Braff's cousin is trying to describe is a phenomena where now and then a killer whale will launch a seal into the air with its tail. Because they're rude! But it just so happened that this one particular seal landed right on the deck of the Perseverance. Here's an animation of what that may have looked like. The crew of the Perseverance felt that this was a good omen, a miracle even. They decided they would name the seal Jesus, and Captain Erskine slept with the seal in his bed every night. Some crewmen thought this was disgusting. Others approved.
I saw that Captain Erskine has been sleeping with Jesus the seal. I think it's kind of cute. I ship those two.
As the ice of the Southern Ocean grew thicker and thicker, progress slowed to about a mile a day, when one day, the 8-year-old boy, Keith, had an idea.
The boy, Keith, proved himself valuable today when he suggested we could go to the island faster if we dump half our food supply. Seeing as if the island is real, and it is, there'll be plenty of food for us there. It's ideas like that that save lives.
The bigwigs at the network offered a complete makeover, and I sprung at the opportunity. I really hope you like it. The Perseverance was making great time when one night, Jesus the seal woke up and discovered a crate of oranges. He began to engorge himself on them. He did not know that seals have a certain enzyme within them that when combined with acidity, like an orange, creates a TNT-like reaction. Jesus exploded, absolutely demolishing the boat and killing everyone on board, except for the main 4 crew. That is one theory that I devised.
Sir.
Another thing that could have happened was that there was a bunch of TNT stored under the sleeping quarters of all the other crewmen, and maybe like a lamp knocked over. Both are equally plausible, regardless of how the ship was destroyed. Erskine, Zachary, Cecil, and Keith were stranded on the ice. What little food scraps they were able to salvage from the wreckage, they gave just about all of it to the boy. After only a little over 2 weeks, the men were starving, living out of makeshift tents thrown together with what little pieces of the mast remained.
If I die today, then I want the world to know demisexuals should have the right to vote.
At only 8 years old, Keith came to the revelation that his crew was going to die, and his only hope was to walk on towards a noose all by himself. If only someone could talk to Keith. They could ask him if he made it.
Hello.
Hi, Keith.
Right, hello, yeah, that's me, come on in. It's King Kong!
So Keith, what happens exactly after you separated from the men and started to go on towards a noose by yourself?
Well, we were closer than we'd thought, like a kilometre or so away, when strange things started to happen to me. I got there and I was like the chosen one or something, like some sort of demigod or something like that.
It's like whatever.
They've been waiting for my arrival for like 1,000 years or something for me to like chauffeur them into the afterlife. So then they handed me like this amulet thing, and like when I took it, all of the souls like exploded out of their bodies and got sucked into this thing. And I think that as long as I wear it, I'll always be an 8-year-old boy.
So what have you been doing all this time?
I was working at Old Navy for a while there.
For like 100 years?
No, that was just during the 90s, but now I just live with my friend Bill. Do you want to meet him?
Sure.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Bill. Bill, this is the documentarian.
Hi. So how did you meet Keith here?
Oh, well, we were at a rave and he needed a place to stay, so he's been in my bathroom for a while.
Awesome.
Oh, Keith, you got some drip. Mind if I take a look?
Oh, yeah, this whole thing. Sure, go ahead.
What is that, jade? You could palm the fuck out of that. Keith? Keith, for real, dog? Keith, come on, man. What's going on, man? Keith, come on.
I don't do too well with blood.
Keith.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Keith,
Thank you
this
guys
isn't
for
cool.
everything.
Who am I gonna do K with? Who am I supposed to do E with? Keith, man. Keith, come on. Keith.
Wow, I'm sorry you had to see that. That's the end of the documentary because everyone is now dead. You may have noticed I took the amulet. That's because I'm a historian and I don't want history to repeat itself. I hope you've enjoyed this documentary.